Welcome to the second episode of Keep Women Talking, a podcast from Peterborough Womens Aid. My name's Mandy and I'm the CEO. So our first podcast, we looked at the brutal murder of Simone Smith. And in this podcast, I want to talk about some of the services that Peterborough Womens Aid offer. And we're also going to be hearing later from a survivor of domestic abuse. So Peterborough Womens Aid just has like loads of services. So you're here with me now. I'm at Anne's House, and Anne's House is our women's centre, which we opened in 2024. And we did this because we were supporting a lot of victims in Peterborough, but there was really nowhere for them to go that was safe and comfortable and confidential. So we found Anne's House, and when we moved here, it was a bit of a state, but now we have beautiful support rooms like the ones I'm in now. We have an internet cafe, a prayer room, a free shop, and group work facilities. So the main thing we do from Anne's House is that we see clients one-to-one who have experienced abuse, and we also run some fantastic groups for women that we're supporting and not supporting. Actually, any woman can come to Anne's House and get support. So the groups we run are really about empowering women, reducing isolation, picking up people's self-esteem and making them feel better about themselves and moving away from feeling like a victim into something more positive. So on a Monday, we run Bums and Tums in the afternoon, and that's exactly what it says on the tin. It's quite painful, but we have lots of women that come and enjoy. It's a really nice kind of gentle workout for women. And we've got so many women that come and they've made friends from being on the group. On a Tuesday and Friday, we have Women Warriors. And Women Warriors is a wellbeing group, and it's open to all women in Peterborough. And we do things like wellbeing exercises. Sometimes we just sit and talk about things that are going on in our lives. Sometimes we might do some arts and crafts, but it's really just to welcome women to our centre, and like I say, to increase their confidence. This runs on a Tuesday and a Friday at 10:30, and you can just turn up to us, enjoy a cup of tea and enjoy kind of seeing other women and making friends. On a Thursday, we do a relaxation class, which is just great for people that have really busy lives. As a working woman, as a mum of three, I've sometimes feel like I never have a moment to relax. And I think there's probably a lot of women out there that feel the exact same way as I do. So on Thursday afternoon at 1 o'clock, we have a relaxation class where we do lovely kind of meditation stuff. Sometimes we write things down, but it's really nice just to have that peace and quiet. And then it's normally people go off and then do back to the chaos and do the school run. So Anne's House, like I say, opened in 2024, and I think we've had probably 3,000 visits from women and children in Peterborough, accessing our help, but also coming to our support groups so they feel less isolated and can make friends. So that's our community work, and our community work is really important because we have specialist projects that mirror the diversity in Peterborough. So we have the Dahlia project, which supports victims from the South Asian community. And we know that domestic abuse is still hushed by certain members of this community and that women don't feel they can come forward. So we're really lucky to have the Dahlia project, and the project is staffed by members of the community who speak multiple languages, which immediately break down that barrier for some of the women that need support in Peterborough. We also have our Lithuanian project, and this was sadly, we started this because there were a disproportionate number of Lithuanian women killed in Peterborough over the last 5 years through domestic homicide reviews. That's how we found out about this. So again, we have a Lithuanian project that supports Lithuanian victims in their own language, again, breaking down this huge barrier. So we also have general outreach, which is our Peacock project, and anyone can come to that, male or female, any gender, any identity can access support through our Peacock project. And all of this is available on our website, or you can call our advice line on 01733896964. So the next thing I want to talk to you about, which is one of my absolute favourite projects, is our eScape project. So eScape stands for Supporting Children and Protecting Through Education. So we work with young children who have been affected by domestic abuse, 6 to 11-year-olds, and we go into primary schools and deliver the Healing Together programme, which is a trauma-informed programme about being able to recognise and deal with your emotions. We then go into secondary schools and we deliver the day programme, or parts of the day programme that we've adapted to the needs of our secondary schools in Peterborough. And that is for 11 to 18-year-olds. And this is, I just think, one of the most important and valuable bits of work that we're doing here at the moment. So we're tackling all of the current issues about misogyny, about the influencers, about Louis Theroux's documentary on the manosphere and adolescence, and everything that our young people are being subjected to. And we look at loads of stuff. We look at like algorithms, we look at doom scrolling, we look at how young people need to be aware of what they're seeing in front of them isn't real life. You know, a lot of this is AI, and we work with young people in classes or assemblies and look at all of these things around destructive relationships, but more importantly, how young people can recognise abuse in a relationship and also recognise a healthy relationship, because that's, you know, what we want. So we obviously have other projects, and one of our main projects, and always has been, is our safe accommodation. So we have an 8-bed refuge where we accommodate women and children, and delighted that last week we actually got the keys to another 4-bed refuge in Peterborough, which enables us to help more families that are at risk of domestic abuse, keep them safe, keep them housed, and support them on their journey to recovery. So the last thing I want to say is that we are really excited that over the last year we've expanded our services outside Peterborough. So we have a contract at the Victim and Witness Hub where we make the first call to any victim who has experienced domestic abuse and called the police. Now, this is really important and very unique to Cambridgeshire, that we contact victims within 48 hours of the crime being committed and offer them our invaluable support. And we've been doing that now for a year, and it's really successful. And that is a county-wide project. And then more expansion is that we are going into Fenland to run our amazing Women Warriors groups. So we will be starting on the 16th of April. We're going into Wisbech first, and then we're going to be running some groups in March. So we're really excited that we can expand all the fantastic work we're doing in Peterborough over into Fenland. So that is a rundown from me about our services, and I felt it was really important to talk exactly about what we do following our first podcast, which looked at, you know, the devastating impact of coercive control. I really wanted people to know where they can get help. So now we are going to talk to a survivor who has access service in Peterborough, and she is going to talk through her story. This afternoon I am joined by Charis. Charis has bravely said that she will talk to us about her story being a survivor of domestic abuse. So thank you so much, Charis, for taking the time and to really, like I say, have the strength to talk openly about what happened to you, in the hope that we will reach as many people as we can and raise awareness about abuse. So Charis, we've spoken about your story or journey, I suppose, haven't we? And it started for you when you were really quite young, didn't it? Do you want to tell us what happened, I suppose, or how it began?
Well, my mum and dad separated when I was really young. Um, my mum's new partner, subsequent to that, was quite abusive with all of us, mum included. Um, and throughout the years, things kind of evolved from abuse around food into, physical abuse for punishments, and into, with me, I was the only girl, into more sexual sort of inappropriate behaviour. And obviously later on, looking back now, I can sort of say that to me, that was grooming, the way that it stepped up across the years, until I got to the point where I was old enough to sort of say, I can't do this anymore. No one's backing me up here, and I left. So
And this started, didn't it, from the age of 5?
yeah,
And you left when you were 15. So you
yes,
had an awfully long time in a horribly abusive household
yeah,
before you were able to leave at the age of 15.
yeah.
And I know we've spoken before that you felt like no one really believed you or supported you.
Yeah, it felt very, because he was so manipulative, and everything was behind closed doors, and in front of people he was, playing the good dad role, and he was very personable
Yeah.
when he was putting on a show. So people kind of just sucked up that story. I'm afraid he would twist things into, oh, it was because of this, and it was because she needs to learn this or that, and things that really, if you just heard them as an isolated incident, you would see how inappropriate they are. But when he was putting that story behind it, the build up of, hygiene reasons or teaching lessons, and he would just sell this story, and people fell for it.
And there was one occasion, I remember you telling me that he showered you,
Yes.
didn't he?
Yeah.
And then
Very young.
you were very young.
He took me into the shower, just me and him, and said that he needed to wash me because I'd been on the beach, and so he took me in there to shower, and he washed me all over. And I felt really uncomfortable, but I really didn't know how to sort of deal with it. At that age, I had no words for what I was feeling, and didn't really feel like I had anyone to go to, even though I knew my mum was out there. Within that situation, I was kind of frozen. And at the end of that, showering me, he then said, right, now it's my turn. And he wanted me to wash him all over. So as much as, I can look back at it now and say that what it is still quite distressing to think that people can do those things and feel like that's actually an appropriate way to treat a young child that's not yours.
And you were so young, weren't you? You were only 5 years
Probably about
old.
6.
Yeah, 5 or 6.
Yeah.
And it's obviously really, I mean, when you look back at stuff like that, I wonder if sometimes you think, wow, did that happen? Because it's horrendous what you've just said.
Yeah.
It's really abusive and controlling. And then you managed to leave the family home, didn't you, at 15?
It was actually a boyfriend of mine at the time that got it out of me, why I was so worried, what was going on at home. And then he obviously said, no, you have to tell somebody. So I spoke to somebody at school, and it kind of snowballed from there. The police got involved, and obviously social services, and I went to a foster home for the night. But I didn't feel safe there either. And eventually I ended up going to live with my nan for a bit until I'd finished my GCSEs. And then I moved in on my own at 16.
And this is a pattern that we see generally, not with child victims of abuse, but with adult victims of abuse, that they are the one, through absolutely no fault of their own, who needs to leave and make the adjustments and change their life because of that one perpetrator. And we see this all the time now, don't we?
Yeah, absolutely. And because the options I was being given weren't good enough, basically. I was told I could go home, but he would be able to access the house to come and get his things and things like that. And, you know, by that age, I knew, no, that's not keeping you safe.
No.
So all the options that were put forward weren't protecting me enough.
Did you feel let down by social care and the police?
Yeah, the police. I mean, they were sympathetic, but the way that they described it was, it's inappropriate, but it's not criminal.
So they never used the language which we would probably use more nowadays, like this is sexual assault, this is sexual abuse. And I think back then, people were a bit scared to say that. Those words, weren't they? Because it had all these kind of connotations with them. And by just dismissing it, I suppose you didn't have to kind of go down that horrible route, I suppose.
Yeah, well, as far as they were concerned, because I wasn't reporting an actual rape or any penetrative sexual abuse, that was fine. That was all just inappropriate.
Wow. So I'm going to fast forward you.
Yep.
Because now you completed the Freedom Programme, didn't you, through one of our sister charities, Living Keys?
Yes.
And now you volunteer there.
Yes.
And you give up like all of your time basically to this charity or doing things like this, spreading awareness.
Yes.
So why do you spend all your time doing this?
Because the one thing that I kind of realised throughout my whole life, that, you know, all the different things that have happened, the one thing that keeps you stuck is silence. And people are wanting to shy away from those difficult conversations. They don't want to hear miserable all the time. And that can be really sort of stifling. And I just feel like when you keep things inside, they eat you up inside. And we should be allowed as survivors to talk about what's happened to us and to support each other and to feel like we can express those emotions without people trying to minimize them, trying to push them away, hide them under the carpet. Because all of that stigma and all of that silencing is what has kept us hurting for longer and longer and longer. And I honestly believe that, you know, if the earlier things are dealt with, the earlier you can understand what you've been through and try to move forward from it, the better that be for the outcomes. And I actually did a master's in public health a couple of years ago, and it's so true what they teach is that, you know, early on in your life, those things kind of add up, they stack. So as you have things that go on in your younger life that you're never able to recover from, you then take those into your adult life. You then end up in more situations that are similar to what you've been through, and you still don't know how to cope with them because you haven't been allowed to learn, to grow, and to be open. So I just feel like people need to have an outlet, and I'm just really passionate about that. So I kind of been saying for over a year that I wanted to run some kind of campaign. I'm like, we need to raise this awareness because people are still not getting it. So when I've had the opportunity to sort of get involved in teaching how to be sympathetic, how to be trauma informed, how to manage difficult situations with empathy, and without certain language that's going to trigger people, I just jumped at the chance because if I can help others to have a voice, that's really important to me, and to make sure people don't get stuck. They don't get stuck where I did.
And recently,
yes,
you organised an art and poetry competition for survivors to submit art and poetry, and I suppose just express themselves through that, which is quite common for the women that we work with, isn't it, to express their emotions in these ways. and you had the exhibition at the Cathedral.
Yes.
We've had it in Queensgate.
Yes.
We're hoping to get some other venues going forward. But coming from this is this.
Yes.
This amazing kind of published book.
Yes.
The Art of Survival, Stories of Resilience, Healing and Hope. And this is a collection of all of the entries, isn't it?
Yes, it's an anthology.
So I want to finish this by saying, like, how does this feel that you've done this?
I don't feel like I've done this. Although, you know, I put in the labour and it was a lot of work. This is all of us. Mm-hmm. This is the whole point. This was never about me. This was always about allowing other women, men, children to have a platform mm-hmm. to express themselves, to feel like they belong, to feel like they're not being silenced. And I was just intent on that being the point. And so when I look at it and go, oh yeah, you did that. Well, actually we all did that, because there were so many people that kind of got behind us, yourself and, you know, other agencies. We all did that. And it is an achievement. It is lovely, but it's an achievement for everybody.
It is. And you're being too kind, because I know personally the work that went into this, the exhibition, the publication of the book, and it's a huge, huge achievement. You should be so proud.
Yeah.
So thank you for talking about your story really bravely. I don't know how the people that are coming on this podcast are, you know, able to do this. So we're really, really thankful. And we're hoping that people watching this, it will raise awareness about domestic abuse. And at the end of this, there will be some numbers that people can call if they need support. But thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
So thank you so much to Charis for sharing her story. The strength of people that we talk to who are able to talk about their experiences, I just find absolutely amazing. So just to talk about a couple of fundraising events and awareness events that we're doing at Peterborough Womens Aid, which we're super excited about. So on the 16th of May, we are walking from our Women's Centre on Cromwell Road to the Town Hall. And we are hoping to get a large group of people. And the purpose of our walk is to raise awareness about domestic abuse in Peterborough. So we would love literally anyone to come along and support this. It's at 11 a.m, 32 Cromwell Road. We'd love everyone to wear pink and purple. This is an awareness raising event and we want as many people involved as they possibly can. Now, the other fundraiser that we have coming up, which I dread every year, is the Great Eastern Run. So the year before last, I ran it properly. Last year, I ran it dressed as a flamingo. This year, there's talk of me running in a full bunny costume. But what we really do need are people to run the Great Eastern Run for us, or run the fun run, the Anna's Hope fun run. Now, if you can raise a certain amount of money, we will pay your entrance fee and you'll be running for a fantastic cause. So please visit us on socials where you'll be able to find out more information. And I look forward to seeing you soon.